Ready. And action. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I forgot to tell you a little bit about this fella here. Again, his name is Hopi Early Morning Singer Katchina, otherwise known as Tavali or Talavai, traditional deity appearing at dawn during the bean dance. Anyway, he would announce news, and where did I get him? Well, I went to about 2-3 years ago when I first started working at Sisseton, Wahpeton College. There was an AI conference, and somebody that was attending the conference said, I have a special gift for you, Professor Singing Eagle. Something that's been in our family, but I really don't understand it, don't know what it's used for. It was a Washichu woman. And so, when I arrived, she gave me this beautiful Katsina. So I am cherishing it with great joy, and I am going to, like I said in previous video, redo his feathers and dust him off a bit because he looks like he's been through a lot. He's probably just been sitting on a shelf somewheres gathering dust, and we can't have that. This is a sacred item with a story all to itself. Speaking of stories, I need to tell you a story from Mom's side of the family. As you may or may not know, and I apologize for the me, I stuff again, that my people are Potawatomi on father's side. We come from here where the Great Lakes meet. And the government moved us all around, and a bunch of us fled up to Canada, and others fled down to Mexico. We don't need to get into the long story. And a bunch of us got marched down to Kansas. That's Nebraska. Kansas is here, and down into Oklahoma. And our direct ancestors, other than fleeing to Canada and Mexico, eventually regrouped and moved to LA. Ta-da! Down there. We talked about this already. Now, that's Dad's side of the family. And also, Mom is a little bit, I think she's Caddo from Louisiana or Chitimacha. Hi! But we want to stay focused on Dad's side of the family, and he may or may not be Micronesian. I say may or may not be because way back in the ancient days when I was a young pup, got a job in the Federated States of Micronesia, which is nobody knows where it is. I just tell everybody it's an outer island of Hawaii, but really it's way over here near the Philippines and above Papua New Guinea. Itty bitty teensy weensy islands. There's Micronesia. That's why they call it Micronesia. On our side of the family, Mom's side, just imagine us being like miniature Samoans, okay? Samoans, big, strong, healthy, little itty bitty folks, that would be us, okay? Right, on Mom's side. Micronesia! And when I first moved there back in the early 90s, still not really knowing who the heck I am, realize, wait a minute, what language are these people speaking? I understand. Oh boy, every day, I can't remember. Snake man king Wahpeton, oh, bon peresin tao, I forgot how it goes. Anyway, the more I listen, the more I realize, how can I understand this stuff? It's because I believe someone in the family used to speak Koshayan, not Koshayan, but there's a little bitty smaller island, not Pingalap and not Koshai, it's probably this one, Malkiles. This is even smaller than our campus, if you can imagine. It is a little bitty atoll, but it's very beautiful. And I'm getting off on a tangent. This village here, I spent a lot of time in this village as well, but we won't mess around too much. Beautiful blue waters, by the way. But let's go back to the main island of Pohnpei. Pohnpei, which means upon a stone altar or sacred stone altar. Let's see if I can tell a story that will make some sense out of this. This is a very, very small island. I believe it's like 10 miles this way by 11 miles that way. And how human beings landed on this itty bitty island is your guess is as good as mine, but we don't need to go there because we need to stay focused on the story. You see? So here is the story. Long, long, long time ago, ancient time, when the earth was filled with magic and wonder, and human beings and animals could chat and hang out together, and supernatural beings even walked among us. There were two demigod brothers, and they paddled around in an outrigger canoe. Let's type in Pohnpei outrigger canoe, not canoe. Canoe. There we go. We don't want the club because that's modern times and it's a bunch of chmokmanuk images. If you could just remember that silly cartoon Moana, that's what they look like. Well, there were these two demigod brothers. I remember paddling around in those. And these demigod brothers were paddling around in their canoe looking for a place to build their sacred stone altar, just like in Moana where they're looking for new islands. Remember that? They're in their outrigger canoe doing this. They are demigods, they're wizards, they have magic or medicine. So they went from island to island. Let's zoom out for a minute, looking for the proper place to build their sacred city and their sacred altar. And finally, they landed here on this island called Pohnpei. And they said, this is a beautiful and sacred place. And they got to this part here, which is probably the southeastern or due east. And it's called Nan Madol. And Nan Madol is, they decided this is the place we are going to build our sacred village. So they prayed, they chanted, and they sang to the gods. Nani Son Sap and Nan Sapwe. And they prayed, and suddenly these giant stones, let's see if we can pick it up. There we go. The big giant stones started to fly through the air, and they piled themselves up like this. And so here, I just looking up Nan Madol. They called this place Nan Madol, and they're ruins now. So if you go there today, you're not allowed to go there at night, by the way. You can only go in the daytime. It's supposed to be haunted, and there's stories that you go there, you're going to die. And there's kind of like a ground or an aerial map of what it looks like, or a diagram. I'm going off on a tangent, and I'm boring you to death. You see, look at, there's a cute little kid there in the entrance of Nan Madol, one of the many entrances. This was built thousands and thousands of years ago. And the story is, and there's a nice computer diagram of what it looked like. It was sort of like the Venice of Micronesia. You could see that. And there is that funny Greek dude who says the aliens did it, but we won't go there. They called the stones together. The stones flew through the sky, hovered over, and piled themselves up and made this great city, Nan Madol. And the two brothers named Olisipa and Olosopa, they are, again, they're demigods and they're wizard-like people with great power. And the children of these brothers crowned Olosopa their king. And Olisipa was sort of like a deputy king. The king would be called a Nanmarki, and the deputy king would be called Nanken. And this tradition carries on to this day because this happened thousands and thousands of years ago, and they still have Nanmarki and they still have Nankens. We'll talk about that in a second. I got to hurry up because I don't want to bore you. So they created this city and they crowned the older brother, the king, and old Olisopa. He ruled with benevolence. Actually, both Olisipa and Olosopa ruled with benevolence for many years, and the younger brother died first, and then Olosopa died, but before he died, he admonished his people, his descendants, make sure that you rule with benevolence as well. Always seek peace and always put the needs of your people first. And then he passed away. However, sadly, as these things normally go, generation after generation got worse. And the advice that the two brothers, the sacred advice, was forgotten more and more. And each new king was more oppressive than the first. They demanded, instead of giving to their people, which is often considered a virtue for a lot of tribal peoples, instead of being a giving ruler or chief, they were demanding more and more tribute from their island subjects. Give me breadfruit, give me bananas, give me taro, give me papayas. And they got greedier and greedier. We want more fish. We want more plumeria garlands. I got to show you what this stuff is. What is breadfruit? What is breadfruit? Oops, fruity. Whatever, breadfruit. That's breadfruit, and it kind of tastes like bread. What is plumeria? Plumeria. Gimme. What is plumeria? Boom. Plumeria are these very fragrant flowers, and the smell is so powerful and it's so sweet. And they make what is a plumeria garland. I believe that the Hawaiians call them leis. I'll just type in lei. See how cute. And the people in the islands wear these and they just smell absolutely overpoweringly beautiful. Better than any perfume made by the French perfumeries. So these greedy new kings and chiefs were demanding more and more. We want more plumeria, hibiscus mats, turtle shells, shark tooth necklace, and they wanted more. And one of the very last, this was called the Saudeleur Dynasty, the last Saudeleur king. He was the worst and the greediest of all. And he said, I want a kamatip, the greatest kamatip ever. And what you got to understand is the children of these gods or demigod brothers, they cut the island up into these different municipalities or kingdoms. This is the kingdom where I hung out the most. It's called Kichi, even though it's spelled kitty. I hung out also in Sokes, which is right on the border. These two get along pretty well. The people in Kichi have a southern accent. They say Sokos instead of Sokes. Colonia nech u Madolenium. So the king, the Nan Marquis, the worst of the Saudeleur kings lived here, Nan Madol and Madolenium, and he invited all the other kings of all the other municipalities to come to his great feast because he wanted to prove that he was the biggest, baddest chief of all, the biggest, baddest king of them all. And so that's what he did. Ooh, I'm breaking my microphone. Wow, 14 minutes and 37 seconds. I better hurry up. All right, so he invites all the different kings and they all show up except for the king of Sokes. I can't make it bigger. Too bad. The king of Sokes was late, maybe fashionably late. But they didn't tell him. They neglected to tell King Saudeleur that the king of Sulkez was a giant chicken, a rooster. Anyway, that sounds terrible. But he was a giant chicken. And so all the different kings, all the different Netch, Kichi, they showed up, and everybody's waiting on the king of Sulkez, and he's not there. And he finally shows up, this giant chicken, this giant rooster. And when he shows up, King Saudeleur starts to laugh at the Rooster King, and his advisor said, sir, this is the king of Sulkez. And Saudeleur laughed, a chicken? A mighty king, the mighty king of Sulkez is a stupid chicken? So he starts to crack up. And of course, the chicken is angry at this. He got so mad, in fact, that his chicken comb on top of his head puffed up bright and red, and he went, and Saudeleur King laughed even harder. And finally, the Rooster King couldn't take it anymore. He jumped up and attacked everybody, killed everybody at the party. And he had the spur, the chicken spur, which those of you who don't know what a chicken spur is, let's type it in. What is a rooster spur? Those claws on the back, if you can, some of them are like horns. Wow, that's a good one. And they can really do some damage to people. Look at that looks really scary. So yeah, a lot of farmers and chicken raisers will cut them off, but that's what those things are. Living proof that the dinosaurs still walk among us. But let's get back to our story, shall we? The Rooster King, jumped up and stabbed people with his spur and messed up the party and killed everyone and ate up all the food. Now, Rooster King is full, and he's, because chickens can kind of sort of fly. They're not very good at flying, but he's flying back home. And as he's flying back home, he realized he ate so much that he could barely fly, and he started to lose altitude, so he had to take a big poop. And that's how we got this. It's called Pwisein Malek. And as we may or may not know, Nan Madol is now ruins. There we go. It's all ruins and nobody lives there anymore, and it's haunted by the ghosts of all those party goers, those ancient kings. Of course, Pohnpei still has kings, like I said before. They are called Nan Marquis, and their lieutenant kings or princes are called Nanken. But they are much more in line with ancient tradition, having rediscovered that the kings are not to be served, they are to serve. Just like in a lot of our tribal societies here in the Americas, we are supposed to take care of our people first before the people do any taking care of us. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, if you want, I believe this is what do I want to say? It is extra credit. You can click on it and you can comment on it. Look at the above photo. Describe what you see. Consider the colors, shapes, and even the weather. What do you think about this strange-looking mountain? Answer these questions. Remember, there is a vocabulary word for when you are describing how something got there, why things are the way they are. Well, there's a girl. She's wearing an uros. She's probably one of my cousins, maternal cousins. Never mind. I'm going off on a tangent too much. You can click on it and contribute to the discussion. We click here. And let's see if anybody started. Nobody has done it yet, of course, because I have a stop sign on it. By the way, just a reminder, please do not try to do this on your phone or your iPad because it will hang up. It's a lot of data, this e-learning. And I've already annoyed Mr. Sunny so much with all my pictures. That's another reason why I got to collapse all this stuff. So again, I'm going to knock it off. It's already 10 minutes to 7 p.m. and I got to go home and have dinner. Thank you so much for your kind patience. You guys have an awesome rest of the week and awesome spring break. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. 20 minutes. Stop.